Welcome to PEGA Engine YouTube channel. Thanks for subscribing my channel. Please share my channel, like the video and provide your comments under the video. Today we are going to discuss about the validations that we are using in PEGA and what is the main use of the validation and why do we need the validation. So for this the answer is for any application whether it is in PEGA or not in PEGA. So it doesn't matter. For any application whenever a business components are building for in that application some of the data required by the user, the user has to provide some of the inputs to process the application further level, right? Let's suppose if I take an example, if you're already applied for PAN card or other card, it is asking us to provide some information like house number or else your SSC class memo or else your birth certificate. Any kind of document is required for that to get in valid PAN card or valid other card. Why we are providing the data? Because to process further your application the data is required. So this is the main importance of providing the data, right? Sometimes just imagine, instead of you are applying for a PAN card for yourself, but instead of your name, if you have given the name for some other person, or else instead of your mobile number to link to your other card, you have provided some other person mobile number for that, then what it will be happen every time whenever you wanted to download your other card from the other portal. So a OTP message will be generated to the particular linked mobile and that message has to be provided, then only you can able to download the other card. So if you provided the wrong mobile number, the OTP cannot be generated and you couldn't able to download the your other card. This may be the causes of the wrong inputs, wrong data. So to avoid this, sometimes applications are required to collect the valid information from the end users. For that purpose, some business processes are maintaining these validation. Validations are like as a checklist whether the user has provided the valid inputs of information or not. So it's these are just like a check the user data whether they have provided the valid data or not. How they will check? There are types of validations available in our PEGA. That is number one, client side validation. Number two, server side validation. What does it mean by the client side, server side? The only difference between the client and server is that when you click on, let's suppose you have a box called mobile number. You clicked on that, but you didn't provided the number and you clicked outside. So immediately it will throw some of the error messages on the particular field itself. So that is known as the client side validation. That means before before the data submits into the clipboard, it will verify the data here. In the sense, client side validations are moreover like whether the particular field information is required or not, or else particular mobile number is valid phone number or valid mobile number or not, particular email address is valid email address or not. So these are the some of the inputs that it can be checked by the client side validation. So client side validations are like on the field level. Let me show you. So I have already a case, in this, if you are able to see my screen, so there is a field called text area. In this text area, we have an option called required. So the option by default is selected as never. But if I make it as always, what it will do that the system will perform the validations if the user didn't provided the inputs inside the comments field. So let me show you by creating a one case. Okay, my bad. Let me create new case. Yep. See, the case has been created. It is in the work basket right now. So I'm just opening the assignment from the work basket. See the comments, the field has marked as red color in the asterisk mark. So if I click on this comments field and if I click on outside, it has performed the validation. So the validations are applicable only for this particular field, not for the entire screen. Okay, this is one of the client side validation. And for the user email, this is second level of user email. I have referred a one property called email. In this property, under advanced tab, we have an option called use validate. So in this I have used one of the validate rule that is known as edit validate. If I open this edit validate rule, it will have all the Java code. See, this is all Java source. So Java code will be there. Based on this Java code, whatever the value has been passed to that particular field, the field value will be checked by this Java code at the backend, and it will throw the error message for the particular field if it doesn't have the valid information. So let's check how this valid email address will work. Let's suppose I'm providing that, PEGA engine Gmail. So let me click outside. See, because the email address basically will verify with the @ symbol. So I haven't provided any @ symbol inside these. So it's performed the validation for the particular field called user email. Now let's jump into our server side validation. How we can perform the server side validation? So server side validations is nothing like, let's suppose here I am providing the valid data, @ symbol I am providing here, just random comments. I'm just provided the comments at the Gmail. Okay. Now it won't provide any errors. See, I clicked on outside, but will it providing anything? No, because whatever the values are required. So we are provided some value for this, and we have provided some value inside this, the valid email address. Now fine, if we can click on the submit, it won't throw any errors. But if the data is not validated, just now through the client side validation we have performed the validation just to check whether the particular email address is valid or not, whether the comments are provided by the user or not. That's it. But we are not enough with those validations. We may require some of the validations for the further process of the case. Sometimes the scenario may be like, the first name and last name should not be same. Let's suppose user has provided the first name and last name as same input. So then actually first name last name cannot be same at anywhere. So then we have to perform the first name and last name validations. So if the user provided the first name as the last name, or else last name as the first name, so then the system should throw the error message like saying that please provide a valid username, because of the both your first name and last name values are same in the field. So just that kind of error message the user should readable, and then user should understandable. Then after user can provide the valid information. Those validations can be performed whenever we click on the submit button. So what will happen, how these server validations will work? So basically whenever we are provided some inputs over here, and these inputs, when we click on the submit, at the back end the input will be get posted to the clipboard, and from the clipboard we have to verify the data is the valid data or not. So for that, how we can verify? So in PEGA we can perform the validations by the validations using the obj validate tool, that is known as the object validate, but basically it is a just a validate tool. So where the validate tool will be comes under, okay, if I click on the records, process category, we can see the validate tool. See, this is the validate. If I open that instances, there are so many instances are available. See, I have created one of the validate tool called validate initiate info. So let's see where I have referred the validate tool. So the reference of validate tool is can be possible in the two places. Okay, number one, using validation in flow action. Okay, that is one thing. Second one is that by using obj validate method in activity. Obj validate method in an activity. This is another way that we can use the validate tool to perform the validations. So this validate tool will come under the category of server side validations. These client side validations and server side validations are not only applicable for the PEGA. These both are applicable for any application which are developing in any technology. It's not related to the particular technology. Okay, but in PEGA the client side validation rules are like, on the property level, mark it as required as always, or based on the condition expression or condition when rule, or else provide the edit validate rule on the property level. But if you provide the edit validate rule on the property level, wherever the property has been referred in any other screens or in mostly screen level, any other screen levels, the validate rule will be get executed every time. But if you configure the validate rules inside the, if you created the validate rule and refer the validate rule inside the flow action, it is applicable for only the particular flow action only. So once the flow action has been submitted, if the validate rule has been referred in some other place, then only it will be perform the validation. Until and unless it won't perform the validation rule. So that's the reason we have a option called validate. So let me showcase you the flow action rule which I have used for this. Okay, now flow action. Where is my flow action? This is, so initiate information. Initiate information is the my flow action. Inside this we have a tab called validation. Inside this validation we can call the one valid. So let's suppose, let me put a one question. Let's suppose in a screen, basically right now here 1 2 3 4 inputs are, four properties are being referred to capture some information. But let's suppose I have around 20 or 25 fields. In at least 10 fields I have to check whether the data is valid or not. So then inside this validation, it is not only restricted for only one particular property to check. We can add multiple properties inside the validate rule. So that's the reason we have this plus icon. So we can keep on add the multiple properties, and moreover we can refer a page dot property as well, or else directly the property also we can refer in the property field. But this is mandatory. If you add something here, if you, let's suppose I'm going to be add some of the values. Okay, first in relationship. So just thing. So phone, I'm just using phone does not equal null. Just assume that. Submit. If I click on the save, see it is throwing the error because we are added the, we are checking the value, which value has not to be null here. Okay, but to which property we wanted to perform this validation. That means inside the validate rule, the property is mandatory to hold the error message. Either it can be the page dot property or else directly the property. But how we can perform the page list validation? Page list validation. It is also simple, like we can mention the page list property inside this box, you know, then we can create another validate rule. It will ask us to that call validate. So if I show you that this is one page property for me. See, if I click on this add button, it is asking me to call another validate rule. But where we are going to be create this validate rule? Let's suppose I'm going to be create test validate rule. Okay, test validate. So it will ask us to create the validate rule, which is the definition for the page or page list. So in the class, in the definition class, we have to create the validate rule, and there we have to mention our properties, and that validate rule again we can refer into our main validate rule. Okay, this is how we can perform the validations for the property, page properties and page list properties. For the time being, I don't have any page list, so I am not checking that. Okay, for the time being, let me provide you this one. Earlier we have checked the validations, you know, by marking the comments field as required on the section level itself. But let me remove that, and uh, let's check whether we can perform the same validation through the validate rule or not. Okay, I'm just marking it as never and click on submit and save. That's fine. And along that, the email address, email. So I'm just removing the edit validate rule on the email as well. Now fine. So we have successfully removed. So let's jump into our main, this one. Clear. Fine. Submit. Okay. Okay. Let me remove from here. Fine. So I have already added the comments field validation over here. How I have added? So when we click on this one, basically here we should have select a function. So here list of the functions available, whether a date time should be the past or future, assigned operator is in my list or not, in my staff or not, expression evaluates true. Basically it's a, we can perform the expressions and we can execute the expressions as well by using this one. And the string and date, everything it will check over here according to that. If you wanted to check any particular page inside the page list, whether it has been listed or not, or what value we wanted to check, we can check that one. Everything mostly we will select the function here from this, and according to that function we will configure the things. So here if I show you the top one, I have selected the first string equals first string equals ignore case second string. That means if the first string is equal to the second string value, so then only it will perform this message, it will provide the these message whatever we have configured the error message inside this. Okay, now, so earlier we have performed the required one. The same required condition I'm going to be performed by using the validate rule. Okay, or else if not so, if not by checking this, if you see on top we have another checkbox called required. If we enable that also, that field, if the field doesn't have any input, so then it will provide us the another error as well. So I'm checking that instead of checking the required by this using this function, I am marking the particular field as required by this enable this checkbox. And here what I would like to check is that now if I provided the PEGA engine as a value inside the comments box, so then I should get a message called please provide valid comments. Please provide valid comments. Okay, now just submit and click on save. And now let me refresh the section again because we have modified something, so for the time safe. Okay, now maybe my case has been gone. Let's create another case. Well, the case has been created. Okay, now, okay, so I haven't provided the any comments over here, but if I click on the submit, it will provide us the required validation as well as, see, this field may not be blank. Earlier when we use the edit validate rule, we have the validation has been performed just over here, but now we can see the error message has been occurred on top of the screen. This field may not be blank. From where it is getting? Because of in the validate rule we mark the particular field as required. That means if it has been null value, it will throw these kind of error messages. This is one thing. On the same field again we have uh, we have validated another point that if the field value is provided as PEGA engine, so then we should get a error message called please provide valid comments. Okay, now let's see whether this is performing perfectly or not. Submit and check. Okay, well, in the comments field I would like to add the value. The value is that PEGA engine. Okay, now let me click on the submit. See, please provide valid comments. How it is checking? Because of the property has been presented inside the page called captured info. So on the page the property value has been equal to the property value basically we have provided as PEGA engine. So in the validate tool we are checking that the property value equal to the PEGA engine, so then perform the validation. So it is like as a moreover a when rule, whatever the condition is being satisfied, so based on that the message will be get populate. If I perform something, if I provide something other value PEGA engine 1234, let's suppose if I come down, click on the submit, and then see it doesn't provide any validations for us because it satisfied the two conditions. One is required means the field should not be null, so we have provided the value which is PEGA engine 1234, and moreover the value is not equal to the PEGA engine, the value which we provided as PEGA engine 1234. So hence this condition has been failed. So if the condition fails, this error message will not be populate. So this is how we can perform the validations by using the validate tool. Not only that, if we want, we can go with the and logic also. And so let me select another thing. Which one? First string relation, second string. Okay. The thing is that what I'm going to be check is that uh, not first string relation, second string. Let me select another one. First string contains. I would like to check page list contains, not page list contains. I'm checking the property reference has a value. Yeah, string to search on, string to search for. Yeah, this is the one. So here the email contains @gmail.com. Okay, so please provide, instead of the valid comments, please provide valid. Click on submit. So now what we are doing is that to provide the error message for the comments field, these are all happening only for the comments property, not for other fields. So to perform the comments property validations, we are checking the combination values. One is the email property should contain @gmail.com. Along that, the comments field should contain the PEGA engine. So if it does not contains, okay, here contains, I check that, does not contains, actually I should check, but will it available, does not equal, does not contains. Yeah, page list looking does not contain is there. String to search on contains, comma delimited, values in list, compare date using created, no. Slam check, probably it's not there. Work object status, okay, so probably it was not there, so hence I would like to go with the contents only, but small change I will do inside that. What is the change I am going to do is that, yep, okay, so instead of @gmail.com, if it has any underscore symbols, okay, then it should provide the error message for us. Now let me create another case to check whether these validations are performing as per our expectation or not. So if not work as per the business scenario, then it will be the error. Okay, welcome underscore 1234 @gmail.com. Let's suppose. So comments PEGA engine. Okay, well, if I click on the submit now, please provide valid inputs. See, it is performing the validations only on this field. Why? Because we are performing the validations only for one property called comments, which is available under the inside the page called captured info. That's the reason it is performing the validation inside that. Okay, now along that I would like to showcase one more thing as well. Here if you guys are look at, there are list of the items are available, so which I used a data page to populate this all information. So I would like to check that whether at least one property value has been selected inside this page list or not. So to perform this, what I would like to check is that I would like to perform the validate rule based on the validation, but will I able to perform the validation or not? That is the question. If not, how we can perform these kind of validations? If not achievable by the validate tool, how we can perform the validations in other way without using a validate tool and edit validate tool? How we can perform those? So let's see. Moreover, for everything, whether if it is a page list or anything, page or anything, so we should provide one property inside this box, so then only we can able to perform the validation. Why the property is required over here? The basic thing is that whatever the value combinations, we can check with different property values as well while we are checking to provide the error message. But ultimately the error message has to be holded to a property. So that is the reason whatever the configuration we are done, we are just checking to provide the message, but the message inside is please provide a valid inputs, which is the error message. So this message should hold by the property, this error message should append to this property. So that is the reason the property is mandated over here. So hence I here this is a page list, since we are having the list of the values, so this is a page list under the PO work page. This is not at all a clipboard property. I just referred a data page to perform to display the values inside this. We can mention the data page here and we can perform the validations. But again, the condition is that we have to check the validation rule has to be created in some other the page definition class of the data page, and inside that we have to perform our validations. So then what is the disadvantage by mentioning the validation rule in the page list? So the thing is that, let's suppose here in the screen level, this screen contains 1 2 3 4 values. So the validate, if you mention the validate, if you mention the page list property here, and it will ask us to that refer the another validate rule which will be in the page definition class, and that validate rule will be check each and every row inside the table of inside the page list, and for each and every row it will perform the validations. Okay, as of now I don't have the page list, and this is one of the thing. Again I have to create one more thing, uh, so that's the reason I'm thinking, but let's see if possible can I able to create or not. So the data page d underscore projects information list which I have created. Let me search in this, will it work or not? I think, yep. Let's open the rule. Okay, so this is the one. Where is our valid rule? Yep. So this class is code pega list, but I'm not sure that whether we can perform the validations for the for the database type page list, because we won't go with this basically. But since I'm just giving a try here with px results, and now this one, okay, if I click as that, so perform validation, and then inside that, see it has been picked up inside these. Okay, here I have used the property called py selected. Okay, for these what I'm going to is that first string relations, second string. Okay, dot selected equals to null. Along that I would like to provide another condition, first string relation second string, and here I would like to select start date does not equal null. Okay, please add the values. Okay, just I have added one error message. Right, I'm going to be click on save now. Just our main when rule, just click on the down key, submit, click on save now. See, px is not a page property and cannot be used as a step page. Yes, so this way we cannot. So always the property should be inside the PO work page, or else the it won't accept us that. So then how we can perform the same validation? My logic is that at least one of the checkbox should be enabled, otherwise it should not allow me to submit the screen. So that is the my concept. So then how I can check that one? Let me Let me do that same validation. Okay, I'm just removing these validation. Fine. So we haven't done, and this is not required. I'm just deleting the record. Okay. Well, so if that is not achievable by using the validate tool, but that is business scenario, I have to perform the validations if the user didn't select at least one checkbox. So then how we can perform the validations? So for that, you know, we can go with the two ways. Number one is that number one in post processing data transform, I'm just writing a shortcut DTV. We can check the conditions, we can check the values by using when and configure a message, then after add a message, add message to the page level, to the page level. This is one thing. Or else the second way, in post processing activity, use page set messages method to perform the to 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 provide the error messages in the screen. Okay, these are the two ways that we can do. So let me pick up the post processing DT, how we can perform that one. Okay, so now I have already configured a data transform which is called post initiate information, and this is being referred in the I can check the view references, then I can know that where this data transform is being referred. See, in this flow action the rule has been referred where under the action inside the post processing. So post data transform, post initiate information data transform has been referred. So now inside this data transform we can configure our code. So what we can do, so first thing I would like to check what I have to do. As we have performed the same thing in the validate also, validate rule also, we are just checking that whether the value has been available inside or not. So the same thing I would like to go. So here first I would like to mention all the data page into the page and classes. So let me do that first of all instead of creating everything. So which is a code page list, code PEGA list. Now dot px results. Make sure guys while you are mentioning, right, so successfully I have configured. Now what I have to do, so before that I just would like to copy this and paste somewhere for my next reference purposes to reuse the same thing inside the function. So first what I would like to check is that at least one checkbox has to be selected inside the table layout, inside the table whatever the values are populating in the screen level. So at least one value has to be selected. So at least one value, whenever it comes to that, at least one value has to be there, at least one value has to be selected. So then immediately we have to think about whether the value, since this is all a page list, whether the value is available inside the page list, whether the value is, the particular property value is equal to that in any one of the page inside the page list or not. So that we have to check first of all. So that how we can check that, we have a function called is in page list. So we are going to use that is in page list. So is in page list I'm checking. isn't pair list, ignore case. This is also fine, isn't pair list, ignore case also, or else isn't pair list also fine, anything is just fine. So isn't pair list. So first of all, let's understand first the parameters what it is required. See, if you see under the signature, it is providing the boolean. That means the outcome of the agent playlist function value is a boolean. Boolean means either true or false. The outcome value will be either true or false. Now let's check agent playlist string look for, string look at, clipboard property looking. So that means string look for means what value we are looking, either the string value, that means either 1 2 3 4 or true or false or xyz, anything, that can be anything string means. So string look for what we are checking, that we are checking for that true value, because whenever the property has been selected, whenever the checkbox has been selected, the checkbox value will be posted as a true into the clipboard level. So that's the reason I am checking true for the string look for. And next, string look at what property we are going to be checked inside the page list. So inside this is all my page list information, and the property I would like to use the live way. I don't know whether I could able to or not. Okay, so let me use live AI and showcase you that. See, the property I have used as py selected. So this property we have to mention inside this one, string look at py selected. This is my property which I am going to be check inside the page list. So what is the page list? Ultimately the last one, clipboard property to look in. So what is the page list name? That basically, so if it is the px results, if it is not px results under the peer work page, so first we have to check whether it is working as expected or not. See, ultimately the value has been provided as false by defaultly. So now means if it has been provided such kind of results, the function is working fine. Or else if there is any fault inside the function, it will throw us some exceptions here itself. So best practice is that whenever you are configuring any function, please click on the test and check whether it is providing any value output or not. Okay, now just click on submit. So here my consideration is that actually if any one of the value is not selected inside the pages, so then I have to perform. So then this value basically checking that at least one value has been selected or not. Okay, so if not selected, the outcome will be the true. If any one value has been selected, the outcome will be the false. So then I don't, if the when rule, whenever we have the 2.1 step, when the when rule has been satisfied, then only it will enter into the 2.1 step. So that means the outcome of these when rule should be the true. So here if at least one value has been selected, the outcome will be the false. But if not selected any value, the outcome will be sorry, if any one value has been selected, the outcome will be the true. If any one value has not been selected, then the outcome value will be the false. But here we are in the reverse way. So hence what I am checking, that I am checking that not is in page list. That means at least one value has not been selected inside the page list. So then I would like to set one error message, which I'm going to set first of all param.message. This param.message, I'm just checking that please select at least one value in the list. Okay, this is one kind of message we are going to be display. I have saved it. Again at 2.2 I'm going to be add one more step. So at 2.2 I'm going to be param dot add message. Why I'm adding this param dot add message? Why I'm adding this param message? Because the message is a string level. So first I would like to set all the string values into a one parameter, and this parameter I'm going to be in use into one of the function. So what is the function that we are going to be used to perform the validations inside the data transform, which is equivalent to the page set messages method in the activity. So the function name is that px add message to page. Okay, see, there are so many functions are available for this. Whatever it is will be satisfied for us, we can go with that. Okay, see, if you are already in the primary context, whatever the page context you are, so just add the message into the particular page context itself, so we can directly select this one. But if you are in the step page, if you are in the child page, but if you would like to push the message onto the parent page, so then we have to select this next second function, which is asking us to provide the page clipboard page as a one of the parameter. So here I would like to go with this one, how we can refer this one. Okay, so here the message information I have already captured into one parameter called param.message. Now the page name I would like to use it as primary page. Okay, now click on test. See, true, uh, add message. So the message is being added. So that means the outcome of the px add message to page property, the function outcome value is either true or false. Okay, that means if the message has been successfully added to the primary page, the value will be true. If not added to the primary page, the value will be the false. So to hold this whether true or false, that's the reason we are added one parameter called param.add message. Means if the message successfully added to the primary page, this parameter will contain true value. If not, this parameter will contains false value. Based on that, we can trace our whenever it is, if it is not working as expected, so then we can trace this by checking this. Okay, now we have successfully configured everything. So let me check whether this functionality is working as fine or not. Click on refresh and again click on go. Yep, I haven't selected anything inside these. Before that, I would like to trace this one whether it is working as expected or not. We have to analyze that as well. We should not go blindly every time. Whenever you have written a code, we should check that thoroughly whether it is working as expected or not. Okay, let me click on submit. I haven't selected anything, so let me click on submit. Oh, this field may not be blank. First it perform the validate rule. Okay, something I have provided. Fine. So in the tracer we can observe the data transform is not yet being started. That means first priority is that validate rule. Once all the validations are successfully completed, then it comes to the post processing DT and post processing activity. So now click on submit. See, it was not added. Oh my god, we got the result. Please select at least one value in the list. Okay, now look at our tracer. What happened? See, whenever a message contains on the page level, in the step page level, we will get such kind of yellow color mark in on the step page level. We can see the message, what message has been added. See, please select at least one value in list. So here the primary page is PO work page, so that is the reason we have added the message has been added successfully, because the when rule, if you see, the when rule has been true, the when rule outcome is true, and hence if it has been true, so the param.message, if I click on these parameters, message parameter will hold the error message what we wanted to be select, what we wanted to be performed. See the message, please select at least one value in the list, and the next parameter add message, you know add message, what was that parameter we have added? Yep, add message here. If we have seen that, control F of add message, see the add message value is true. That means the function outcome is true, that has been holded with the parameter called add message. Okay, now this is how we can perform the validations. Okay guys, if you wanted to be know any particular information, please provide under the comments so that I can do the next video on the specific topic which you provided. Based on the priority I will consider. So but at the end of the video, I would like to provide some of the tips. you know, well, we have we have added the messages by using the data transform, like page messages we have added, and along that we can add the messages to the property messages also. And for that we have the function called px add message to property. Now once the error message has been there, the first thing is that if the situation comes to remove all the error messages what are on the particular page, so can we clear the property messages or page messages in the data transform, uh, because in the activity we can use the page clear messages method, but in the data transform how we are able to set the error message on the particular page or particular properties, but how we can remove the messages, that is one thing. And second thing, how can we check that if the primary page have any messages in it or not. So while writing some of other while writing the logic of the business, sometimes it is required us to check if there are any messages on the page or not. So those how can we check? How can we check the a particular message has messages or not? Okay. For that, please wait until for the next video. I will explain these two information inside that. Okay. Now I'm going to be give another tip called, you know we can add the messages to the property, that is what I am saying, but how we can add the messages to the property, like in the activity we can use the property set message method to set the error message without using the validation rule. By the activity we can add the error message to the property, but if it is the data transform, how we can perform that one. So the answer is that px add message to property. So this is one of the function available. If you guys are would like to do, please try to implement this to perform the validation without using the validation rule. Okay, that's all. We are at the end of the session. Thank you guys, love you all. But before uh, uh, leaving from the video, please subscribe my channel, share the videos, and like and provide the comments. So based on your comments I can improve the either volume or either the best way of the explanation, or the next video which you would like to know, so I can make the changes according to your comments. Thank you guys, bye bye, signing off.